Peace and blessings, dear listeners, and welcome back to the Relitalks, the channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of religion, culture, and history. Today, we embark on a journey through one of the most important and sometimes misunderstood aspects of the Islamic tradition, the story of Sunni and Shia Islam. Why are there two main branches of Islam? How did the division begin? What are the key differences in beliefs and practices? And equally important, what unites them despite their differences? Stay with me, because in this episode, we will explore over 14 centuries of history, belief, and culture. By the end, you will not only understand the origins of the Sunni-Shia split, but also appreciate the richness and diversity of the Muslim world. So, let's begin. Part 1. The origins of the divide. Islam emerged in the early 7th century in the city of Mecca through the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. By the time of his passing in 632 CE, Islam had united the tribes of Arabia under a new faith centered on the worship of one God, justice, and community. But with the Prophet gone, a pressing question arose: who would lead the Muslim community? This was not a question of theology at first. All Muslims continued to believe in one God, the Quran, and the example of the Prophet. Rather, it was a question of leadership and succession. For many companions, the answer was Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, one of the Prophet's closest friends, advisors, and father-in-law. At a gathering known as Saqifa, he was chosen as the first caliph, meaning steward or successor. Those who accepted this model of leadership, where leaders were chosen by consultation, shura, later became known as Sunnis, short for Ahl al-Sunnah, the people of the Prophet's tradition. Another group, however, believed that leadership should remain within the Prophet's family. They pointed to Ali ibn Abi Talib, the Prophet's cousin and son-in-law, as the rightful heir. Ali's supporters argued that the Prophet had, on various occasions, including the event of Ghadir Qum, indicated Ali's spiritual and moral authority. This group became known as the Shi'at Ali, the party of Ali, from which the word Shia comes. Thus, what began as a political question soon grew into a deeper spiritual and communal divide. Part 2. Early Caliphates and Civil Wars. Abu Bakr became the first caliph, followed by Umar ibn al-Khattab, Uthman ibn Affan, and finally Ali ibn Abi Talib. Sunnis honor these four as the rightly guided caliphs, paragons of leadership after the Prophet. For Shias, however, the delay in Ali's leadership was seen as a departure from divine will. When Ali finally became the fourth caliph, his rule was marred by civil wars, the Battle of the Camel and the Battle of Siffin. These wars pitted Muslims against Muslims, deepening the rift between factions. In 661 CE, Ali was assassinated in Kufa, and the Umayyad dynasty rose to power. This shift was seen by many Shias as the triumph of worldly politics over divine justice. But perhaps the most defining event in Shia memory came not with Ali, but with his son Hussein. Part 3. The Tragedy of Karbala. In 680 CE, Ali's son Hussein refused to pledge allegiance to Yazid, the Umayyad Caliph. Hussein believed Yazid's rule was unjust and corrupt. Together with his family and a small band of followers, he set out toward Kufa, but was intercepted at Karbala. On the 10th of Muharram, a day now known as Ashura, Hussein, his family, and his companions were massacred. Hussein himself was killed, his head taken to Damascus, and his family paraded as captives. For Shia Muslims, Karbala is the spiritual heart of their identity, a symbol of resistance against tyranny and the ultimate sacrifice for justice. Each year during Muharram, millions of Shias mourn Hussein through processions, recitations, and passion plays. For Sunnis too, Hussein remains a revered figure, the beloved grandson of the Prophet. While Sunnis may not commemorate Ashura in the same way, they honor Hussein's courage and sacrifice. The tragedy of Karbala sealed the sense of injustice and suffering within Shia history, shaping their theology of martyrdom, patience, and awaiting divine justice. Part 4. Theological Development. As time passed, the Sunni-Shia divide evolved beyond politics into questions of theology, law, and religious authority. For Sunnis, authority rested with the consensus of the community and the scholarship of the ulama, jurists and theologians who interpreted the Quran and Hadith. For Shias, authority resided in the line of imams descending from Ali and Fatima, the Prophet's daughter. These imams were seen as divinely guided, infallible in religious matters, and essential to interpreting God's will. Thus, while Sunnis developed four main schools of law, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali, Shias followed the Jafari school, based on the teachings of Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. Even the collections of hadith differ. Sunnis rely on Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, and others, while Shias emphasize traditions narrated by the Prophet's family and their imams. Part 5. Rituals and Practices. Despite their shared pillars of Islam, belief in one God, daily prayer, fasting in Ramadan, charity, and pilgrimage to Mecca, Sunnis and Shias have variations in practice. Prayer. Sunnis typically pray 5 times a day at distinct times. Shias also pray 5 times, but they often combine prayers, performing them in 3 sessions. Call to prayer. In Shia practice, the call to prayer includes the phrase, Hayya ala khair al-amal, hasten to the best of deeds. Commemoration. Shias place great emphasis on mourning ceremonies during Muharram, especially on Ashura. Sunnis may fast on this day, commemorating the Prophet Moses' deliverance, but do not hold the same mourning rituals. Temporary marriage. Shia law permits mut'ah, or temporary marriage, under strict regulations, while Sunnis generally prohibit it. These differences, while significant, exist alongside shared devotion to God, the Quran, and the Prophet. Part 6. Cultural and Historical Contributions. Throughout history, both Sunnis and Shias contributed immensely to Islamic civilization. Sunni scholars preserved vast collections of hadith and developed jurisprudence. Shia scholars contributed to philosophy, science, and mysticism. Geographically, Sunnis make up about 85–90% of Muslims worldwide, while Shias form 10–15%, concentrated in Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Bahrain, and parts of Pakistan and India. Despite political conflicts, Sunnis and Shias have lived side by side for centuries, intermarrying, sharing mosques, and building communities together. Part 7. Common Ground and Modern Challenges. In today's world, much attention is given to Sunni-Shia conflicts, often fueled by politics, geopolitics, and power struggles. But beyond the headlines lies a deeper truth. Sunnis and Shias share the same Quran. They believe in the same God and follow the same Prophet. They both fast in Ramadan, pray facing Mecca, and yearn for justice, mercy, and closeness to God. The divisions, while real, should not overshadow the vast unity of faith. Many modern scholars and leaders emphasize dialogue, understanding, and cooperation between Sunnis and Shias, reminding us that Islam is stronger when united. As we close this journey into the history and beliefs of Sunnis and Shias, let us remember this. What began as a political question 100–400 years ago has grown into a rich tapestry of traditions, beliefs, and practices. Yes, there are differences in theology, in ritual, in leadership. But there is also profound unity in faith, devotion, and purpose. For both Sunnis and Shias, Islam is a path to God, a way of life rooted in justice, compassion, and truth. Perhaps the real lesson is this: diversity within faith need not mean division. Just as the Muslim world flourished with many cultures, languages, and schools of thought, so too can it flourish with Sunnis and Shias together. Thank you for joining me on the Relitalks. If you found this exploration insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so we can continue bringing you more deep dives into religion, history, and culture. Until next time, peace, blessings, and understanding be upon you all.